Hi, so I'll take you through a little, a quick tutorial, really, how to fix these things. Drying machines. This is broken about 50 times. No, that's too many. 20 times this is broken. And the simple fix for this hot point, anyway, is you go around the back, you undo all the screws, and you got to undo many of the screws in order to get to the bit that sticks out, which contains the fan. Then once you got that bit out, throughout however many screws you need to get undone, actually keep count of the screws. But once you've done it, once you've got hold of the fan bit, which actually separates out a bit more, it's the heater, rather. It's the heating element, I suppose, plus the fan which drives the heat in. That has a switch on it. It's a what's the word? A switch which cuts the electricity if there's too much heat or too little heat. If there's too much of a contrast, between the temperature of the machine being hot and it being cold, it's a cutout switch thing. So you've got to get a needle, no, not a needle, a paper clip. Make sure it's not a coloured plastic one, just a normal plastic one, a normal metal paper clip, or anything of that size. And you jab the thing really quite hard until you hear it click. You jab the hole. There'll only be one hole probably, but if there are two, try each one until one clicks. And once that's clicked, it has reset it. Then you just screw them all back again. What I found, I've been doing it, as I say, about 20 times I've done it. And one thing you've got to do is keep count of your screws and make sure you put all the screws back again. But what I've found has helped has been to tape up with electrical tape. It's got to be electrical tape. The two holes that I've found, which are between the drum where you put the clothes and the outside and that heating element bit which I was talking about, which you have to unscrew, which sort of juts out at the back. Once you've unscrewed the main panel of the back, you find then you get the heating element with the thing that clicks. Anyway, dividing the wool, the sort of metal wool which that heating element bit with the fan is, to the main drum, there might be some holes, so you should tape them up, and that will keep the heat in, so there won't be a difference in heat. There won't be a big difference, so it won't click again. That's helped, I think, as well. That's a tip for these drying machines. And now, as the Schubert. Well, actually, now I think I'm going to be doing Rachmaninoff and Bach and Chopin instead. Actually, let's have a go. 24 minutes. Okay, so 24 minutes. taking it, Danny? No, Danny, I told you. Well, why don't we make it after supper? My given po-ruski, da? No, I'm afraid I can't be doing that. Mummy would not allow that anyway. After supper, I think I said. Okay? I'm pretty sure I did, Danny. In any case, well.
In the garden, I meant queen.
After supper, darling.
No, you said 10
Alright, let's not argue though. Because that's the new rule. If I just say it, I'm sorry. This is the new rule. It's going to be after supper. Okay? Go on. So that's just by way of introduction, and I messed up those two pieces, especially there at the end of the Schubert. Was interrupted by my son, but I think that Schubert and Rachmaninoff have a lot in common. Well, not only did Rachmaninoff record Schubert's fourth impromptu of D899, and not only did he write 6 moments musicaux just like Schubert did, obviously sort of homage to Schubert, but they also were kind of working under the shadow of an illustrious predecessor. In the case of Schubert, of course, it was Beethoven, and who was living in their lifetime. And in the case of Rachmaninoff, it was Tchaikovsky, of course. So, and they both were the greatest songwriters of their epoch in their country, in the world, really. Yeah. Schubert was the greatest songwriter of his time, and then Rachmaninoff was the greatest songwriter, like Lieder writer, as it were, art song in his time. Yeah, so I think it's good to learn Schubert and Rachmaninoff together. I think they go well together. So just some thoughts on this. So there's a pianist called Tiffany Poon, and she is a very good pianist who's doing the C minor Schubert D958 sonata at the moment. She's learning that at the same time, I believe, as learning the first concerto of Rachmaninoff. So that's someone who's also doing 2 of these 2 composers at the same time. I just wanted to talk about those 2 pieces, actually, and that's to say that there are various versions of this first piano concerto, and if I'm not mistaken, Rachmaninoff was asked to perform his first concerto in London when he first came to London. The first time he came to London, first or second time, I think the first time. And he categorically refused, saying, "No way, that is a student work." So he considered it a student work, and he wasn't willing to perform it, which is interesting. However, he did revise it, and it's. To be honest, I don't know which sounds the best, and so forth. Unlike the 4th concerto, where definitely the original is the best, the first version. There are a few recordings on YouTube. The beginning is markedly different. You can really hear it's probably the oboes or the bassoons going pew at the beginning. Da, 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 da. And da, 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 da. And you can hear as that's crescendoing. Then I think it's either the bassoons or the oboes are going you in a very kind of in an obviously pessimistic way, which obviously was supposed to reflect Rachmaninoff's feelings having moved to America, and it was supposed to mark a difference, in my opinion, between his first 3 concerti, especially the middle 2, anyway, the second number 2 and 3. And how life-affirming they were, etc. And I think that Rachmaninoff wanted to make that point in the first few measures of the 4th concerto. Anyway, the first concerto is bit of a mess. No, it's not really. It's good. It's perfectly good. And you know, I'm listening to parts played, and it does have a beautiful slow movement. And yeah, it is. It's a wonderful piece. The Schubert piece is also really growing on me a lot. That first sonata, the 9/5 D9/5. Schubert wrote two triads of sonatas. One was the one beginning D894, the one in A minor. I think it's 894, and then the next one is the one in D major, which is called the Gasteiner Sonata, and then the 897. I think it's a D897, which is the that very sort of beautiful sonata. And they mirror the next triad, the way they open also with a minor one in the C minor one, D958, which is also a minor and dramatic one, like the A minor is the first triad, written I think in 1825. I think, yeah, 1825. Those three sonatas were written, and this last triad was just in 1828, all in 1 month apparently, in September. So a real tour de force on the part of Schubert, and an annus mirabilis. Anyway, and then the second one is a luminous major sonata, begins in a major way. That's the A major one in the D959, and we've got the I think it's, I can't remember which one it is, but it's the one in it's the Gasteiner one. So yes, it's the Gasteiner one, which is a very virtuosic sonata, but that's also a major sonata and a very brilliant one. But it's luminous, it's optimistic, and it's in a major key. Begins in a major key. I think the D959 begins in a major key, then it quickly becomes a minor key, if I'm not mistaken. And then the final sonata in each of those triads is a very beautiful, quite a soft, yeah, very soft. They would be very, very sort of pianissimo and a cantabile sort of way. So the D960 in the last triad.